Well, we have a quorum, so we should go ahead and call to the meeting. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Zionsville Redevelopment Commission for Monday, September 28th, 2020. This public meeting will be conducted pursuant to Governor Eric J. Holcomb's Executive Orders 20-02, 20-04, 20-08, and 20-26. And Governor Holcomb's exercise of his powers under Indiana's Emergency Management and Disaster Law, Indiana Code 10-14-3. Additional information regarding the meeting is provided in the annex published with this agenda. So welcome all. Do we have any attendees who would request to be noted? I know we just went over the list, but we haven't started our meeting yet.
We have the hand of Sally Zalonis raised. If there are any other attendees that would like to be acknowledged, John Towsley had raised his hand. Adam, again, no last name provided. Piers Phillips, Ron Hopwood. I see that Barbara Jennings, who will be on the agenda on one of the cases, she is also logged on.
Okay. All right, great. Well, thank you. Wayne, if you could kick us off with reports for the month.
Certainly, we can speak to the memorandum that's been released with your agenda and posted to the town's website. We're focusing on 106 and Bennett LLC. Project continues to move forward with its efforts. Reindeer Properties, as well as a commercial renovation at 5100 Charles Court. AES Restaurants, this is a newer project, 10440 Bennett Parkway. It's secured a development plan approval from the Plan Commission in July of this year. Zionsville Medical Office Building at 10649 Bennett Parkway. A commercial tenant finish permit was issued on May 15th. Aria Apartments continues to move through its efforts to wrap up its project. Same with Blackacre Brewing at 98 South Main. Hotel Tango, a project that we'll be discussing this evening, at 10615 Zionsville Road, is currently underway with renovations of the building that exists there. And the Trico addition at 7236 Mayflower Parkway, related to the office addition and remodel. As specific to projects, Appaloosa Crossing continues to move earthwork activities on that property, certainly continuing with the TIF conversation. Projects with Creekside Corporate Park, marketing continues. Stormwater mitigation, we have wrapped up that project. Actually met with Dr. Miller on site. We're continuing to work through the wetlands mitigation efforts, and as well as the CDC as their seasonal maintenance of the property. And they'll be commencing here soon to talk 2021 contracts for ground maintenance. Any questions? I'm happy to entertain them.
Any questions for Wayne? Okay. Hearing none. Thank you, Wayne.
Oh, I have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kate.
And maybe I should know this already, but when it says the RDC, the marketing of the property in Creekside, what does that mean, Wayne?
Certainly, what we are doing currently is providing, we have brochures and other marketing materials that we distribute. I have conversations in the marketplace with different brokers. We are working towards a more robust marketing program, but that is something the town is undertaking currently.
Okay, so it's the town doing it and no other outside marketing.
Correct. We worked for about 2.5 years with a marketing partner, and prior to that, we had a listing agreement with the original purchase of Creekside, exclusive broker agreement with Creekside. We are outside of those agreements now. The town chose to work on its own without a broker, and we're uniquely talking tonight about a sale of 3 lots in Creekside.
Awesome. Thank you, Wayne.
Good question. Next order of business is the adoption of our minutes from our August 24th regular meeting. Does anyone?
I'll move that we adopt the minutes from the August 24th meeting.
Great.
Second.
Motion. We have a motion and a second. Roger, could you do a roll call for us?
Yes, sir. Mr. Ezra,
Yes.
Mr. Patel,
Yes.
Ms. Madrick,
Yes.
Ms. Swanson,
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries 4-0. Next item on our agenda is the approval of the RLL development agreement for lots 12, 13, 14 in Creekside Corporate Park. We've been working diligently with the group from RLL in developing this agreement, and Brian's done a nice job coordinating with their attorney in solidifying the language so it's acceptable from our view. We haven't presented this very often to the entire group, so Kate or anyone else would have any questions in regards to the agreement, we'd definitely like to hear your questions or clarifications that you require.
I have a few questions. I noticed, I mean, we've talked about this in a few meetings back about the purchase price being very low. And I'm not completely in the know about that, but I know that the anticipated development is the investment supposed to be between 15 and $20 million and employing 80 to 100 people. So is that really, if that works and we track that, and I guess that's a question for Wayne or Roger, I presume we do. I think there was language in there about confirming the investment. That becomes virtually the tax basis. Is that correct? Is why we're selling it for such a low price?
Yes, ultimately, the goal of Creekside is focused on AV, assessed value being brought to the area, a daytime population as well, accompanying that investment, and certainly the overall betterment of the entire community of Zionsville related to these efforts. And so certainly that's part of this conversation is this economic development activity, the investment that's proposed, the metrics that we will be looking to manage and monitor to look that at a minimum those are achieved. And certainly that's the very brief description I can offer you. Certainly, is there any additional details to offer, Brian, on those metrics?
Yeah, there is. So, RLL is further developing and refining, their development plans, and they will do so even more should you approve, the agreement and move forward. They have a diligence period of 90 days and then an additional 45 days if necessary to really solidify their plans, which will include capital investment and more certain employment figures. And then those plans and the investment and the job numbers will be a part of the plans, goes back to the RDC for approval. So you'll get, you'll get a chance, to review all that information, before the land is ultimately conveyed. It's pretty understandable at the stage they're at that committing to a hard number on either of those, while they're still in the planning phase. Although I think Wayne, you'd probably agree they're certainly not in the preliminary stages of planning. They've already spent a great deal of time, effort, and money in evaluating the opportunity. So this isn't a situation where, they're negotiating an agreement, they're going to sign their name to it, and then they start. They've really spent a lot of time and effort so far.
Right, that is correct. And the project itself is on file with the town for the Plan Commission hearing in October. That filing is publicly viewable on the town's website. It was posted within shortly after it is filed, so the public can measure and see what investment is on its way for Creekside.
Thank you. My only other question has to do with that access road and talking to the people that own that property. I know that's important to Pierce, and I just wondered, is that something that's clearly, I assume, going to be part of the due diligence, and is that going to potentially cause a problem if the answer is no and they don't have access?
I do know that Piers is here tonight, and I think he is in a great position to answer that question.
I'm promoting Piers to the position of panelist.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, for some reason I dropped out there. Yes, good evening. Yes, question about the access road. Yes, that would cause a situation for us in terms of our current plans and designs. We are working on an alternative if that shouldn't come to fruition, but obviously we've got everything crossed that that's not the case, and we do get access through that entrance.
Thank you, Pierce.
No problem. Thank you. I think if you can hear me, yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Pierce. I have a question for Wayne, and this piggybacks on Cindy's first question. Am I correct that earlier there was an appraisal process for the lots again? Did that happen recently?
Yes, we conducted an appraisal process, I believe, in 2017, and then conducted one earlier this year as well. Correct.
Okay, and is the plan going forward? I mean, I think it has generated a ton of interest the way that they are making these lots cost, lower cost to attract the buyers or the property. But I'm wondering, is this the plan going forward? Is it always going to be marketed this way, where giving less tax abatements rather than lower cost land up front? Is this the plan going forward? And when we did the appraisal, is that to show these buyers what the actual cost of the land would be?
So
Yes, the appraisals themselves were statutorily required, related to any sort of disposal activity that the town would have undertaken. But certainly, we are leveraging the appraised values in the marketplace to demonstrate that this is what this piece of land is valued at based upon its current market value. With, I would say, yes, going forward, certainly for the right project, with the right investment, the town of Zionsville will aggressively talk about what the land price will be. Rahal Letterman Racing is a great example of a project that matches well with the objectives. Other projects may not match as well, and that's okay too. But the cost of entry will be closer, if not at market.
Right. And then Kate, after we went through the appraisal process, we did advertise the available lots for sale through the public bidding process that ended in June.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So at that time, we did not have any interest at the advertised price.
Okay, good to know. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Yeah, and by the way, that's the second time those lots have been statutorily offered. Technically, there was no legal requirement to do it because they'd already been offered once before. But in order to renew interest, it's why they were offered a second time.
Great, thank you. Any additional questions in regards to the development agreement with RLL? So Wayne, we need to take a motion to adopt the agreement or approve the agreement, correct?
Excuse me, Mr. Patel. We do have one hand raised from the audience, if you would like to entertain discussion from them.
Sure.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir,
Yes.
Mr. Cutler.
Yeah, thank you. I'm no whiz when it comes to this. Wayne, when will the economic study be available online?
Could you define what the economic study is?
I'm trying to refer to the study that's going to show the economic benefits to the town of this project. You said that'd be posted. That is, this project, I understand, is on something more than the $10 mentioned in the agreement. It's the benefit to the town. I thought I heard that there is supposed to be a study done which will be posted online so that the rest of us can see what the benefit of this purchase agreement is. Am I incorrect? Is there going to be some sort of posting of a study showing what the value of this purchase will be?
I believe what you may be referencing to, Mr. Towsley, was when Wayne referenced that the plans have been are being considered by the Plan Commission in October, and those plans, the RLL plans for their building, is available on the town's website.
Okay. So, for instance, there's no study on the amount of taxes that will be brought in. Is there any study on the basis of what taxes might be produced by the people who work there? Is there any study that shows the number of people who are going to be employed there?
Brian, can you repeat?
Yeah, I mean, the agreement requires that information be submitted with the project plans and the project budget and the other deliverables that are described in the development agreement. And I think even contemplated in the term sheet that that was executed a couple months ago. Now, some of the information regarding some specific spends and some specific things that RLL is going to be doing will be confidential in nature, and the RDC statute and Indiana state statute, allows that information to remain confidential. But there certainly will be another public meeting on this particular on these particular issues. In a general rule of thumb, I mean, if your project budget is X, that's usually a pretty good rule of thumb what the assessed value of the improvements are going to be. Just as a rule of thumb. Sometimes it could be different for certain reasons, but I'm not really aware of any project like this. That you would do an economic study to determine that information, just because really the project budget, the value, what's being constructed is generally good enough.
Right, Brian, I can understand that maybe for an expert, but for the rest of us, sitting down and trying to extrapolate that information might be a bit of a challenge.
Well, I think there will be a commitment to the project cost. And so if there's a commitment to a project cost, again, that's a pretty good rule of thumb to assume that the improvements, the assessed value of the improvements will be somewhere near the project cost, particularly if it's embedded in the project agreement.
Okay, and are you saying, Brian, then that I should be able to figure out how much is going to be paid in real estate taxes from the project cost?
Yeah, based on the tax rate and assessed value. If those are the same, those numbers are the same.
Where will I get that information?
You could find out that information right now from the county assessor's website. It would tell you what the tax rate is for that particular area.
Okay, will the information necessary to determine this be available before any closing?
You just take the tax rate and multiply it by the assessed value.
I'm sorry, that wasn't my question. My question was, will this information be available before any closing?
Well, there will certainly be project cost, information available. Will be part of the RDC's further review and approval of the project.
Another topic, I noticed the commission's paying $25,000 per year to maintain an environmental policy upon the property through 2030. Why is it doing that?
I can provide clarification for that. So the policy is something that the RDC undertook in May of 2013 when it purchased the property. It is a belt and suspenders approach to the ownership of a property that does have a history of environmental topics. As many people know, in Zionsville, it's circa 1930 usage by Pittman Moore, certainly then to Dow Chemical, which closed the facility in 1976. Certainly, I believe the town felt it a very responsible thing to do to retain environmental insurance. The cost of that insurance is $5,000 a year. That policy may go up, may go down, may no longer be available to the RDC at some point in time, but the cost of entry for that policy is $5,000 a year.
Okay, if that's the case, then why is the figure $25,000 used in section 5.3, subpart B?
That's just that's just a trigger for with respect to RLL procuring the insurance. It's not this premium doesn't go up because RLL is being added as an additional insured. In fact, it's the exact opposite. I mean, the insurance company's already on this risk. It's a 5-year premium. So adding anybody, any owner, property owner won't increase the premium. It doesn't change the rest of the insurance company.
Is this an insurance policy that covers the entire Creekside corporate property? Okay, I'll take that as a yes.
Yes.
Okay. And do I understand there'll be no further tax abatements given?
Not part of the deal.
What was the appraised value of the property? Do you know?
It's around $2.3 million, wasn't it? Do you remember, Wayne? I think we have it in the letter of intent. Let me look.
Okay, so I assume the goal is to try to make somewhere around that amount eventually through whatever benefits that might accrue other than cash. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I guess that and other benefits.
Yeah, so will the benefits, does the commission see the benefits accruing from this project, selling the property at $10 will eventually be in the vicinity of the amount of its appraised value?
There is a long-term benefit in obviously developing Creekside Corporate Park, and we have through the public offering process of the parcels where we had no interest in the parcels at those values. Additionally, I'm aware that RLL already has some employees that are Zionsville residents, and moving their operation from Ohio and bringing those new employees to the area, along with having members of their team already residing in Zionsville, will only boost the opportunity to sell to those employees, living and working in Zionsville, and the development of that Creekside Corporate Park and South Main Street as well.
Right, but Mr. Chairman, I understand there's not going to be an economic study that will show us the benefits you discussed. Am I correct?
You are correct.
Okay, so what you're giving me is a hypothetical.
Wayne, do you know what the tax rate is for those parcels there? Do you have any idea what the tax rate is?
I don't have that offhand. I'd have to look at the.
Is it at the 3% cap, or is it less?
It would be less.
Okay, so maybe like 1.8, 2?
Yeah, 2.1, 2.07.
2.1. Well, I just ran it at 1.8. Let's assume a $20 million investment at a 1.8% tax rate. That's $360,000 a year in taxes. So you'd recoup your your $2.6, $2.7 million pretty quickly.
Okay, that would be somewhere in the range of maybe 6 or 7 years.
Correct.
Okay.
And that's just on the tax side.
That's
probably the assessed value. It assumes the assessed value is equal to the investment.
We're not making any taxes on it right now as it sits empty.
Correct.
Speaking of those taxes, those will stay within the TIF, won't they?
Through 2029.
The TIF expires.
The TIF expires in February of 2029.
Okay. So whatever you're going to receive over the next several years up to 2029 won't accrue to anything other than the commission. Am I correct?
Correct. Funding would be sent to the TIF through the RDC, and then each year the RDC can adjust its holdings, be it keeping retainage of 100% or 30 or 60. That can be decided, is decided each year.
Right, but historically, the RDC has never turned any money over, has it?
I can only speak to my time with the RDC, and typically the RDC has set its percentages at 100. There is a TIF sharing agreement with the school that will be executed in 2021, I believe, and that will be that will result in TIF sharing, as you're mentioning, Mr. Towsley.
Okay, thank you. And you may not have a quick answer to this, but I was curious, in general, how much has the commission spent in purchasing and developing the Creekside Corporate Park? And what does that work out to on a per acre basis? Does anybody have any idea on that?
I look at about that number's about 7.8 million, and so that roughs out to about 260,000 an acre, give or take.
Okay, and that would be the acreage originally purchased, the total acreage.
I don't have my math in front of me from when I last figured that to answer that question accurately.
Okay, well, thank you very much for the information.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Great. Thank you. Anyone from the RDC have any additional questions for Pierce before we consider this development agreement? Nope. Hearing none. Okay. Great. Thank you. What does my official motion need to be, Wayne? Approval of the RLL development agreement for lots 12, 13, and 14 of Creekside Corporate Park.
Mr. Christ, would you like to give
The official.
best direction here?
Yeah, you just need to, somebody needs to move for a vote on the RLL development agreement. Somebody second, and then you vote. Majority wins.
I'll
I didn't know
move.
if there was any specific language you needed.
Yeah.
Nope. No magic language.
I'll move that we approve the development agreement for RLL on lots 12. Excuse me. I forget. I should know that. What 12, 11, and 9? Is that what it is?
12, 13, and 14.
12, 13, and 14. Sorry, I apologize. I screwed it up.
I will
So yeah.
second.
Okay. Got a motion and a second?
I second the motion.
Thank you, Kate. Roger, could you do a roll call, please?
Thank you. Mrs. Madrick,
Yes.
Mr. Ezra,
Yes.
Mrs. Swanson,
Yes.
Mr. Patel.
Yes. Motion carries 4-0. Pierce, congratulations. Thank you for working with us throughout this.
We're excited for you.
Thanks,
You've been a
guys.
great
Looking,
partner, and good luck at the doubleheader this week. Be attending both races.
yeah, thank you, guys. I can tell you extremely happy. I know Bobby and Mike were waiting for this meeting to close so I could call them and tell them, but everybody's really excited and we're looking forward to working with you guys and being in Zionsville very soon.
Yay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yay. Thanks, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Mr. President, I want to say want to thank everybody, Roger, Brian, Wayne, yourself. Everybody worked pretty hard on this deal. I think it's going to be a great deal for Zionsville. And I just want to say thanks for everyone.
I
I
agree.
second that. Thank you, Tom. Thank you. All right, she's back. Great. Okay, next item of business, new business, CDC recommendations for grants. In your packet that was provided to you with this meeting invite, we have 4 grants to consider. The Forza Jackson was one we discussed last month for the Hotel Tango site. Wayne, if you could just provide us a quick update on the revisions that were made. They're mostly related to dates, I believe.
That's correct. Yes, we did go back and visited with the CDC to review your recommendations on thoughts of how that could have a better structure. And the CDC modified the last paragraph on the memorandum that you have in front of you, and was also uploaded to the town's website on last Friday. This staff is very comfortable with this additional structure, but it still has the same flexibility that we're looking for. Mr. Patel, you do recall that you were focused on, what if the town has the funds in place in 2020? could we go ahead and disperse? And I think we've captured all those points
Right.
here very clearly.
Agreed. Thank you. And Kate, just as a recap, the primary driving force of the date change was to allow, we have some other asks from the CDC, and we want to make sure that funding is available for our local businesses. And that's why I was requesting a push to 2021 to utilize those funds if needed for the Forza project.
Thank you for the clarification. I called Wayne as well to ask about it to get the background info. So thank you.
Great, thanks. Take a motion to approve the CDC's recommendation for the Forza Jackson IG South Village Station redevelopment for a grant request for $125,000.
So moved.
We have a motion.
Second.
Motion and second. Thank you. Roger, if you can do a roll call, please.
Yes, Ms. Swanson? Oh, we have you muted right now.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Ezra?
Yes.
Mrs. Madrick?
Yes.
Mr. Patel?
Yes, thank you, Roger. Motion carries 4-0. Wayne, if you could, give us updates on the next three. These are primarily new. Obviously we have the information provided in front of us, but you may be able to provide some additional background information, unless there's someone from the CDC that's in the audience.
I'm not aware of anyone in the audience from the CDC. I'm certainly happy to tackle these topics.
We do have the individual petitioners, the individuals that have filed the grant request. They are online, so if we want to include them, we can. And I do see that while the Forza Jackson grant was just acted upon, Adam D'Angelo of Forza Jackson has raised his hand. Let me allow him to speak.
Hello, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
I'm not sure if you can see me, but we just, on behalf of the Forza Jackson IG group, we're very grateful. Also, I would say Positively Canine, one of our other tenants who continues to employ over 8 full-time individuals here in Zionsville, will also be grateful for the improvements that we can procure and complete for this building as a result of this grant. So we're very grateful in being able to transform the asset. And as a citizen of Zionsville, I want to say it's on another topic. It's great to see the movement of the Creekside corporate lots. I think it's fantastic. I applaud Wayne and everybody on this call for continuing to drive economic development and industry to the area. So thank you for that.
Great, thank you. Roger, if you don't mind, could we go ahead and add Mr. Hopwood to our call as Wayne goes through the request, and then he'll be available for questions.
Yes, I'm allowing Mr. Hopwood to speak. Ron, are you?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for allowing me to present our request. I just a little background here that I chose to write down. Sometimes when I start ad-libbing, I kind of start rambling on. My name is Ron Hopwood. Janet and I live here. Kids go to school here, and we are the owners of Hopwood Cellars Winery here in the heart of Zionsville. We have been a big part of this community for over 8 years. We are a Zionsville Chamber of Business in good standing with ATC, TTB, Excise Police, and the town of Zionsville, and we support all the businesses here. As a full production winery, we are part of 112 other wineries in Indiana. We are in the tourism business. Alcohol sales through COVID have gone up, yes, but not for wineries. As a winery, we are an entertainment business. We offer tastings, education, live tours, live music, tours, and events. We have lost all of this due to COVID, including Hopwood's Big Grape Stomp Festival that had been canceled, a festival that brings nearly 1,000 people to downtown Zionsville that also shop and eat at nearby restaurants. The loss for that week was 52% and 4% of the year's volume. Hopwood is the first and only winery in Boone County. Hopwood offers wine only. Of course, we have simple bites, but nothing else. Our only business is selling wine. 35% of our customer is first time and from a distance away. After leaving Hopwood, many people walk the town, eat at our restaurants, and shop our shops. Most customers comment on how cute our town is, and of course, almost always ask, where should they go for dinner? We're doing everything legally possible for from delivery to curbside pickup and shipping as well to keep the bills paid. We unfortunately have had to lay off almost all of our employees. Much is due to reducing our retail hours. We have decided to bring in a new product to attract new customers. So we will soon be selling our small batch premium distilled products. It is named William Rose Distillery. Due to the COVID, we could not find a distiller to help us. In July, at a cost of $6,400, Janet Hopwood traveled to Kentucky and was taught distilling. She is now our distiller and making product as we speak. Final thought about Hopwood. As a winery, we serve a great purpose here in the community. We sell our own made products that does not conflict with any other business. We help other business to thrive. We draw consumers from all over Indiana and other states, travelers, tourists traveling through. These are customers that shop souvenirs and eat at quaint local places, all of which we have here in Zionsville. We're able to do this through many sources, such as our wine trail that we're associated with other wineries in the state that many people travel on. And we advertise at rest areas, hotels, etc. Hopwood advertises all over to bring consumers here, such as billboards, radio, TV, newspaper, and of course, social media. All of this has suffered due to COVID. The funds we are asking for will be used for marketing and social media to get consumers back into Zionsville. We need to update our 2012 antiquated website, POS system, and $2,500 remodeling changes in our tasting room to qualify for state excise requirements for the new distillery permit, which includes adding panels for all of the wine, removing floor racks to allow additional tables for social distancing. Signage and new menus all need to be printed. It will also cover food and wine that had expired and thrown out due to the governor shutting down businesses. We have 7 refrigerators that we kept running through COVID to protect the wine. It would also go to a new sign for the distillery out front. We're also shipping more. Our register is not set up to communicate with our third-party vino shipper, nor does it communicate with our credit card machines. It is a 9-year-old simple Walmart cash register. We even must have inventory 24,000 bottles on a regular basis that our system does not speak to either. A new POS system starts at $3,500 for the hardware, $299 a month. We want and will continue to be a big part of this community. Our business, Hopwood Cellars Winery, being here helps other businesses too. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Ron. Appreciate that explanation. Any questions in regards to the $10,000 grant request from Hopwood Cellars Winery? Hearing none?
Mr. President, are we voting on this now?
Yes.
Okay.
Would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll sorry, I didn't know. I will move that we approve the, I believe it's $10,000 request for Hopwood Cellars.
Okay. Have a motion?
Second.
And I'd like to, oh,
Sorry,
Have a
Jay.
motion and a second from Cindy. Great. Roger, could you do a roll call, please?
Absolutely. Mrs. Swanson?
yes, I'm thrilled to support one of our local businesses.
Mr. Patel?
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Ezra?
Yes.
Mrs. Madrick?
Yes.
Okay, great. Motion carries 4-0 to grant the Hopwood Cellars Winery $10,000 through the CDC. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hopwood.
Thank you. What you guys are doing here, this is wonderful for the community, and I think it's all going to go right back into the community here. Thank you.
Agreed.
We'll now promote Barbara Jennings, allow her to speak.
Okay. Ms. Jennings, if you'd like to give us a quick update as we consider your grant for $31,000 from the CDC.
We're still needing her to unmute. There we go.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. Let's see. Quick update. I'm not as prepared as Ron. You did a great job. I didn't realize I was going to represent. However, basically, very similar to Ron, what I would like to do is spend the money on marketing. My main objective really is to get people to realize that I have a website where they can actively use and purchase from. We've spent, during the quarantine and the shutdown, I spent a great deal of time working on building a new website because mine was antiquated as well, and it kept shutting down. So during the time that we weren't allowed to be open, I was working with my web people, and we have built a brand new website. And I hope you all visit it, and I hope you all are impressed that we've done a pretty reasonable job. And our issue now is getting people to visit it. So I've hired a new person who one of her main jobs will be to work on social media and become more educated in how to drive buyers to our site and to actually make purchases online. So in a nutshell, that's sort of where I am hoping to get some help with marketing dollars and to help pay for this rather pricey employee.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Ms. Jennings?
What's the amount that she's asking for the grant?
31,000.
I had made two separate requests. One was for the social media, which the request was 16,000 for that marketing, and then I made a separate request for $15,000 to do remodeling of the gallery, which has not been remodeled for, well, let's see, I think it was 97 when we remodeled it last. So it's been a while. Things are a bit dated. So that was on my secondary request.
And
Just to
the CDC is recommending our approval of the $31,000 request. And
Mr. Patel.
I'm sorry, request, the grant amount is 10,000. Is that correct?
Yes, they are recommending a grant of 10,000. The requested amount was a total of 31,000, and the CDC is recommending a grant.
Thank you for that clarification, Roger. I didn't get down far enough on the memo.
Mr. Patel, I can provide a little bit of additional background here. Certainly the CDC is very cautious and conservative about the overall program in 2020. Certainly does not want to dissuade anybody from reapplying, but certainly at this step, it felt very comfortable for the CDC to support a $10,000 grant for the needs of this business. Much like the previous presenter, both of these items, and certainly the first one that you heard, which was for Jane's facility, is focused on the staff gathering data from each applicant specific to how they've utilized those dollars, so we can establish some metrics and look for return on investment for these dollars that are coming from your TIF district. Again, as you noted, the recommendation is for up to $10,000 for the grant. Again, there's nothing that would dissuade somebody from reapplying for additional dollars, but the grant recommendation in front of you is for $10,000.
Thank you for that clarification. That was my mistake.
Mr. President, I would move that we approve the CDC recommendation of $10,000 for forget the I should know it.
CD Art
Art and
and
Frame. Sorry.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
I will second.
We have a motion and a second. Thank you. Roger, could you do a roll call, please?
Yes. Mrs. Madrick,
Yes.
Mr. Ezra,
Yes.
Mr. Patel,
Yes.
Mrs. Swanson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion carries 4-0 for a $10,000 grant for CV Art and Frame.
Thank you very much. I very much appreciate it, and I appreciate all of you folks in Zionsville.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank
you. And the final CDC recommended grant is for ZWorks for a grant amount of $10,000. Do we have anyone from Vicky Hall is in the audience? Roger, if you could add.
Yes, I'm promoting Vicky. There we go.
There we go. Hi. Everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I did apply for the grant, and if I can, I would like to share my screen as a base. And Wayne and Roger, this will look pretty familiar, but it'll give the background on the reasoning for the application that we did. 1 second. I am still. Yeah. Oh, I don't want to do that. There we go. Let's see. I don't want that. I want that. Can everyone see that? We're getting there.
I see the agenda. Oh, it says it's loading.
Do we
now,
have that?
Vicki. There it says.
There we
Works
go.
in COVID.
Okay. Perfect. That's good old country living for you. My TDS is awesome. This is what I did present to the CDC at the end of August. Just as a quick background of who we are a 501c3 nonprofit, and we do serve the community as an entrepreneurial and co-working community. We do rely on members and partners financially as we create our community and our organization. What we do at ZWorks, we provide a professional space for, I kind of refer to them as silos, entrepreneurs and startups. We offer a very low barrier to entry to starting your business, whether that be an office or even just a general membership that allows you 24/7 access in addition to professional meeting rooms. We also do work with both in-kind and financial partners that do pre-COVID and even now, quite frankly, we have pivoted with some virtual events and virtual conversations, as well as some of what we've always kind of referred to as manufactured serendipity. When you have the members in there, for example, a website designer and a person trying to create their website, as they're kind of hopping around ZWorks, they kind of can hear those things, and they manufactured serendipity, they begin working together. It does allow entrepreneurs and startups to have a professional place to be, to have meetings with investors or clients or even their team. And we also do have a handful of dedicated private offices that we do lease on a month-to-month basis to allow entrepreneurs and startups to grow their business and be able to keep a handle on their finances without having to sign long-term leases with other places. In addition, and this is really where, especially I think in our current pandemic world, we may see some uptick as people become more comfortable with the way the world is now, with remote workers that work for larger corporations or they work for themselves or freelancers. We do provide the professional co-working space, again, meeting rooms, and we do have people that do have dedicated desks. And we do offer the, within your membership, we offer the office resources, high-speed internet, printing, scanning. We do have mailbox services and 24/7 access. We have 2 locations within the TIF district, and as well as within the village in the heart of Zionsville. Our Cedar Street location is our original location. And I know you guys are all very capable of reading. And then over at Pine Street, we have, that is strictly meeting rooms. And when I say 3 to 4 startup offices, that is truly the beauty of ZWorks, is we can be very flexible with things. At one point, one of the meeting rooms we have now made into a startup office, and we can go vice versa as we have needs. And you will see that as part of the request. At our Cedar Street location, one of the startup offices, which is of course our largest startup office, is currently vacant. And it does run at a higher monthly lease cost due to the size and the amount of people that it can hold, and the employees it can hold in the room. So that is one of the big holes in some of our revenue being down. And that's about 30% of my rent at Cedar for the entire space. So that is still available. However, I do use that now as a meeting room, because again, in our COVID world, as we all know, space is very important. So as members do start to come back, it is nice to have that extra meeting room. However, I am losing revenue on that. Part of the thing is, when do we need the money? And we need it now. Our membership is down about 22%. Our largest annual renewals of membership was in April, May, and June. ZWorks opened in April of 2015 and offered annual memberships at the time only. And that's when the majority of those members, that's when their annual renewal hits. And we are down around 19 annual members at this time. We offer now, and we have for almost 3 years, monthly memberships. As you can imagine, when COVID hit, several of those monthly memberships terminated their membership. Some have returned, and I am having some members trickle in now as people become more comfortable. And also part of the why now, this is where we are. As you can see, we're down membership, vacant offices, and additionally financial partners. The cost of a membership at ZWorks, monthly and or annual, does not fully cover all of the expenses it takes to maintain and operate ZWorks efficiently. So we do rely on both in-kind and financial donations from partners. And we are also currently down on those. As you can imagine, all of them have had to change their business models as well. And some of the community dollars just currently aren't there this year. Additionally, with this grant that we are requesting, it will display to us and to the economic development that the financial support of ZWorks, it really shows that you really view us as a nonprofit economic development engine. For example, as Creekside develops, we would be happy to help out some of those businesses that are moving in there if they need some temporary office space, things like that. Additionally, as members do come back and as startups are here, people do walk out. They go to Cobblestone, Roast in the Village. They have a glass of wine at Hopwood. They do certainly mill around town and have lunch and go to Rosie's and places like that. So also with remote workers that we are starting to slowly have trickle back in. For example, rather than working downtown and having lunch somewhere downtown, they'll be coming to ZWorks and maybe invite their family for the day, come have lunch or go shopping a little bit, or meet up. So the idea is to continue to keep the money in Zionsville, if you will. So if we are granted this money, it does help us shape our future and continue to set us up for 2021 and beyond to allow us to attract startups, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and remote workers to live, work, and play in Zionsville. The grant will help us maintain operational and our space expenses, and it will allow us to continue adaptations around our spacing and cleaning protocols. So I am happy to answer any questions.
Great. Thank you for that update, Ms. Health. Any questions?
I do have a question. I should probably preface this. I think all of you know that I was the founder, or I'm sorry, the former executive director at ZWorks. So I am extremely biased when it comes to this issue, but I don't have any connections or official role with ZWorks now. Question that I had for Vicki, and then wanted to make a statement is, have you seen any uptick in those corporate workers that are not driving downtown? Have you seen any sort of interest from those type of workers? That are they willing and are they wanting to use a co-working space, or is it still too early in COVID to see that change?
I have seen a few of our newer members. Yes, they are there, and most of them, when they come in and do the tour and usually and join, what they're telling me is, I need a change of pace. I do have a home office. I am working from home. I have been told I will be working from home until the end of the year, or the July through next year. Mm-hmm. And I just need a change of pace. So of those members, for example, the one I saw today joined last week. He comes in for about 2 to 3 hours. And so that's what we're finding, is people just want to come, even though they're working from home, come to 2 or 3 hours, maybe have lunch, and then finish out the afternoon at home. Come back, or come in throughout the day to do, like, for example, a Zoom meeting, and they just don't want to be at home for it.
Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to mention, I mean, obviously I am very close to this and have watched this economic development engine work firsthand, and it's pretty phenomenal to see. I also want to mention that ZWorks is pretty unique around the state. We had people from all over the state coming to visit ZWorks to see how we did it. We're probably the least reliant on government in terms of a co-working space anywhere in the state. The fact that we were able to provide resources and not depend on the government to support ZWorks, I think was a real, we used to pride ourselves on it. So I hate to see that they're having trouble. And I think the fact that the government, or that the town has not overly supported ZWorks like some of the other towns in the state have been funded. It would be nice to see that we could help them out as much as we could in this hard time, because ZWorks really has worked hard to do this on their own, and membership does not cover the cost of operations, and it probably never will in a space like that when you try to keep the membership rate low. But I've seen, and I should also say that working for one of the startups that has graduated out of there now, I work for one of the companies that started there in the back room. Every day I see firsthand the benefit and the advantage of having a place like that in Zionsville. That's it. I'll get off my soapbox. I can't help but rave about ZWorks. I'm super proud of what it's done.
That was it, Kate.
Oh, sorry. You're gonna have to cut me off, guys. Sorry.
Any additional questions for Vicki?
Well, I actually have a question for Wayne, if you could, please. A few of the participants tonight, I don't know if that's the right word, but the grant requests have been for more than $10,000. Can you speak to that as far as the CDC was concerned? They wanted to keep it to 10,000 because of the financial situation that the RDC has, or I wonder if you could shed a little light on that.
Certainly. I mean, the dollars are finite. The dollars that are within your economic development line item are a defined amount. Certainly, you all can adjust that and push additional dollars into that line item if you so choose, and then work through the town council to facilitate that. And given that we still have 3 months left in the year and an unknown amount of potential requests that you could hear. And we do talk to people on a pretty regular basis. And so we do have an idea of what other asks could be coming in to the CDC. Certainly when we inform the CDC of the dollars that are available, the reduction of those dollars based upon the awards thus far, the potential asks that will potentially come in, at least ones that we know about. It illustrates a picture that the CDC reacted to in a very conservative way, and certainly the recommendations in front of you match Leslie Jane's original recommendation, which was $10,000. Again, that doesn't stop, as I mentioned earlier, that doesn't stop any party from refiling and jumping back in and discussing that and talking about, hey, I've gotten this far with those dollars. Here's where I need to go with that, another award. But you have a CDC. Those recommendations are very conservative based upon the demand that we see and the dollars that remain available.
Wayne, a quick question on that. So the Hotel Tango request, this is coming from the same pot of money as these COVID hardship grants. Is that correct?
Correct. You have one line item for economic development incentives, correct?
Okay.
I guess I would say, I'm sorry, go ahead.
But the Hotel Tango was not, I mean, it was an economic development grant, but not specifically because of COVID, just a general economic development grant.
Correct. It was an economic development grant that honestly started working with the town right after the first of the year, so even pre-COVID.
Okay.
So it wasn't
Okay.
it wasn't even a thought of on the horizon.
Got it. Thank you.
I wanted to say that I think ZWorks, I would say Cobblestone, we see people from ZWorks constantly, and especially when it was really going. Obviously, since COVID, that's changed. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that I think that we should get behind ZWorks as much as we can, especially going forward, because as either COVID continues and people aren't going downtown, or to help with Creekside and startups. I know they asked for 25.5. I might suggest that we consider at least even a little bit more than the 10,000 that the CDC. I think ZWorks is important to Zionsville for sure.
Thank you, Tom. Kent, sorry. It came up, I was like, as soon as I said Kent, or as soon as I said Tom, I was like, that's not right. Sorry, Kent.
That's my name too. It's okay.
Perfect.
You call me a bad name.
No, I did not. Thank you.
And certainly, as the RDC knows, if you're not focused on following the recommendation of the CDC, you can certainly remand this back to the CDC. Certainly, another option is to, if the RDC is supportive of the grant that's been put together, certainly you can choose to fund that, and then simply see the ZWorks entity come through again with an additional ask here in the near future. Certainly, I would agree, Kent, this and certainly Vicki, there's seems to be opportunity here just for an ongoing basis support from the Redevelopment Commission of the ZWorks, the entity known as ZWorks. And so this could be something that you just automatically build into your processes and go through a disbursement through the CDC with a whole different metrics. And so that could be a conversation.
Moving forward through this
2021, maybe.
Sure.
2021.
Yeah, just going forward.
Rather than through the proposed new process through the food and beverage, which is where our town money has come from in the past.
I was thinking in addition. I mean, I wouldn't conversation to one or the other. I would look in all buckets to see where the help comes from. That might actually reduce your ask, if you will, coming out of food and beverage. But no, we've talked about this before, some other people, and this seems like another way to work through these challenges.
All right, so I'm going to move that we approve the $10,000 request for ZWorks, and Well, let's go from there, and then I have a comment after that.
We have a
I'll
motion,
second that motion, Kent.
we have a motion and a second from Kate. Great, thank you. Roger, could you do a roll call?
Yes. Mr. Patel,
Yes.
Mrs. Swanson,
Yes.
Mr. Ezra,
Yes.
Ms. Metrick,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay, great. Motion carries 4-0 for a $10,000 grant for Z-Works. Thank
And
you.
then I
Thank you,
might,
guys.
yeah, I
Very,
might
very
suggest,
much.
Vicki, that, and I'm not sure of all the rules, and Brian might have to weigh in on this one, but maybe we can sit down with Wayne and with Sanjay and myself and maybe try and work something out on a go forward. Because I think Z-Works is important, and if we can, if the RDC, you know, downtown's a TIF district, correct, Wayne?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. That is correct. And I would see this structured by this. Let your CDC put this program together. They have the tools and the wherewithal to make that happen, and they can put something together and come to you with that grant proposal.
Perfect.
Great, thank you. I will be in touch, but in the meantime, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vicki.
Good things coming up.
All right, so we have one other item of new business on our agenda. It's the Gateway area update. And Wayne, if you could provide some background on that project and what the town's desire is of coming to the RDC.
Certainly, and I start this conversation with the fact that this program has commenced. This is something that Mayor Styron and others have worked to facilitate. The first public event is October 1st. Certainly this conversation is one that we would wanted to have had probably a few months back, just to get you all up to speed on where this project could go and where it ultimately is going. But certainly we're here tonight nonetheless to cover some ground and some background. So this may be an update for some of you, and this may be brand new information for some of you. But with the town moving forward through last year was focused on a sub-area plan, sub-study of the corridor, Main Street corridor, South Zionsville Road, certainly focusing on the Gateway. A few years back, there was a different effort that was, initiated where the ideas were put together, like possibly a charrette would be hosted or some other, a small committee was convened, and citizens of the town have participated in that committee. Ultimately, the results of that effort did not move forward, and here we are today with a different effort focused on the Zionsville Gateway area. And this is a direct result of the demolition of the PNC and the locksmith shop and the engagement of a consulting team, Thomas P. Miller and Associates and Dell Design. Dell Design is an architectural and branding consulting firm. And these two entities have joined together through the administration to facilitate a listening effort by the town focused on the Gateway area, which is the intersection of Sycamore and Main Street. And this first event is October 1st. This event will be an in-person live event. It will be 4 hours long, where folks can arrange to visit the fairgrounds, the Boone County Fairgrounds, to participate in this event. Concurrent with the conclusion of the event, a virtual event will launch, and that will be going, I would say, for a period of 2 to 3 weeks. And it is the exact same event that was in person, but it's now online. And so we can solicit and cultivate that exact same comment through the exact same processes as if you actually participated in the live event. That's the first step of this event. The emphasis of this effort is the town will be spending around $50,000 to facilitate this event. Certainly part of that conversation tonight is asking the RDC if they would like to participate in any way in these events, certainly monetarily or otherwise. Certainly I had mentioned to Sanjay and Kent, certainly utilizing some of the RDC's dollars in the tune of $10,000, $11,000, 20% assistance with this program would be advantageous to the town. Certainly, this program is launched, it's moving, the scope is written, the events are planned, the money is there that the town has already to spend, but clearly, if there's an additional assistance that's coming from the RDC for these professional services, it does free up a little bit of money as we go into the end of the year for any additional projects or actually additional enhancements that we want to make with this program. But happy to take questions.
Wayne, is there a committee that is internal committee or a citizens advisory committee that's guiding this process for the Gateway?
Yeah, this is a very unique project and one that does not fit the typical model or of a study. I mean, typically you would do those things that you just mentioned, Mr. Patel. You would establish a citizens committee. You would go out and talk to stakeholders, and then you would bring to the public the results of those internal dialogue. This is the exact opposite, where the town staff is working with a consultant to host a listening event. So there is no steering committee that's gathering data and processing information. It is the consulting firm doing that work where they are interfacing with the public to gather the public's thoughts and desires and wishes. Yes, there are myself, a few other members of the town staff are pushing the ball forward internally, making sure that deadlines are met in terms of production and making sure that we have our COVID-19 protocols in place for the public event and making sure the contracts are signed and milestones are met. But there is no steering committee or internal facing network that's pushing this project forward. This is truly a publicly driven, sourced process.
Okay, great. Thank you for that.
I would just like to comment, and then I have a question. As you know, Wayne, I've learned a little bit more about this process today, and I do think the whole community is really excited about this. I can't imagine anything being more of an economic development tool than the gateway of the town, and the way it's sort of not fallen apart, but I guess it actually has fallen apart over the last few years. So I think it does affect every aspect of economic development in our town. So I think I'm excited that the mayor is opening this process to the community like this. My question is, if the money is already, I'm assuming, budgeted for this, what would be the advantage of RDC contributing as well?
The advantage of the RDC providing some level of funding assistance is it frees up additional dollars internal to the town's budget process to be put towards a totally different program, or it could broaden our reach with this specific effort. For example, we might run into a situation in month 3 of this effort where we would like to bring in really intense AV component, and that audiovisual additional component might cost $2,500. And I'm just shooting from throwing out dollars and possibilities here, but this makes the project a bit more nimble. And certainly makes, frees up a little bit of encumbrance, if you will, on some town dollars that is occurring right now.
Thank you. That helps a lot.
Yeah, the whole area is TIF district too, correct?
Correct.
And where would the funds come from, Wayne? Just so for the benefit of the group.
So from your funding would come from your professional services line item, your 490. Your 490 line items.
Great.
Which is different than the 3 cases that we just approved.
Correct. You have a very specific economic development incentive line item. You have in your budget, you do have a few different service line items for professional services, legal, accounting, consultants to help with different projects.
And would this, oh, what was my question? Oh my gosh, I completely forgot my question. Let me think of a different way to ask this. For the consultant's fees, for this 490, you say line item, where do we stand in terms of the budget? Oh, I know what my question was. Is this a 2020 expense or a 2021 expense?
We would look to see these dollars would be spent in 2020. The
Okay.
idea that I had is this would be, about a 20% contribution to the overall budget. So I'd framed it to Sanjay and Kent as an $11,000 ask, if you will, from the staff to assist with that. Did you have a second part to that question?
The first part, before I remembered the second part, was that where do we stand in terms of that line item for 2020 in consultants?
No, your line items are very healthy in terms of professional services.
Okay, thank you.
Certainly.
Don't say that too loud. Our attorney is listening in.
I don't really have a question as much as a statement, and that is, I think the opportunity for RDC to support really what hopefully is a one-time thing, which is participating on the entrance to our town, I think is important. And to just make a statement that we support that. It certainly is redevelopment. So to support it in some way, I believe is important.
Agreed. So I would make one request, Kent, or not Kent, but Wayne, as the town hall moves forward with the development of this gateway plan, if there is a citizens advisory committee or some sort of committee formed that a member of the RDC, not me, but a member of the RDC be invited to be part of that committee. Because it's within our TIF district, it's redevelopment for that area, and I think having a voice from the RDC would be important.
Good idea.
Okay. Well, I will entertain a motion to for the RDC to contribute through their professional services line item up to $11,000 in support of the Town of Zionsville's Gateway Area program and in support of their public outreach efforts within their live and their virtual meetings.
I will second the motion.
I can't motion it, so I'm going to ask you.
Oh, sorry. I thought you motioned, Sanjay.
I was laying it out for you.
Okay, I will make the motion to support the RDC up to $11,000 to help with their efforts on the Gateway Area project.
Motion.
Is that the right statement, to support the RDC, or the RDC supporting? I'm just making sure.
Gateway project.
The Gateway project.
Was that the right way to state that?
Yes.
I think between the two comments here, we can restructure in the minutes.
Okay.
Reflect what's transpiring here.
I second.
Motion and a second. Thank you. Roger, could we have a roll call, please?
Yes, Mrs. Madrick,
Yes.
Mr. Patel,
Yes.
Mrs. Swanson,
Yes.
Mr. Ezra.
Yes.
Yes, great. Motion carries 4-0 in support of up to $11,000 from the RDC's professional services line item in support of the Town of Zionsville's Gateway Area project. Thank you all. I have no further items on the agenda. Wayne or Roger, is there anything else we need to add?
I do not have anything.
I'll put forward a motion to adjourn.
Okay, our next meeting is October 20. I don't have my agenda in front of me any longer.
26th.
26th, and it'll be a live meeting as of now, correct, Wayne?
What?
Yes, we are striving with Governor Holcomb announcing phase 5. Certainly the town hall, I believe, will work towards opening. We will identify that exact date here in the near future. I do not have that exact date here known to me, but I know we've had this goal in front of us a few times, and so we're looking to again meet and achieve that goal. So stay tuned.
Okay.
Although if you have to have another electronic meeting, the governor's order, the governor's emergency orders with respect to electronic meetings was extended on Thursday to November 1st. So.
Oh.
Thank you, Brian. Good to know. All right. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.